Hello, everybody. Welcome to our tech webinar. We have with us today Brian D'Agostino, our VP of Products, and he's going to be reviewing a new and very exciting feature that we have launched over the last week to implement VRI integration with Zoom. So it shouldn't look too different for the interpreter, but we will go through a demo now just to show you how it works. And please ask questions. If you have any clarifying questions, I'll be watching the question box, so let me know and we'll answer those for you. And
Cool, thanks,
Brian,
Caroline.
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No worries, no worries. Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. As Caroline mentioned, we have a really cool new feature that's available today in production, although I will talk about when to expect calls, and that is the Boostlingo's Zoom app. So we're calling it Zoom for VRI. So today I'm going to give you kind of a little introduction on what that feature means, how it affects interpreters in the crowd, and then also we'll do a little demo of that. And then I want to talk finally about some, points of emphasis, things that you need to be aware of when providing interpretation through Boostlingo and Zoom. As Caroline mentioned, at the end, we will make time for some questions. So ask as many as you like, and we'll make sure that there's time at the end. I don't believe we'll be spending the entire hour on this feature, but I absolutely will answer as many questions as we can. So again, a little introduction on what we're doing and why we're doing it, a demo of it in a live environment, and then we'll talk a little bit about some areas that you should be aware of when doing a Zoom call. So first, let me minimize this. Our Zoom app. So this Zoom app supports the crowd, right? So calls that come in can be routed to anybody that's working in our backstops. So again, you need to have permissions for this. Oh, sorry, no additional permissions are necessary. As long as you are ready to take VRI calls, you can take a Zoom call. Another thing to mention is when you are placed into a Zoom meeting, and I'll show you how easy that is, it requires your video to be on. Oftentimes, we were asked, if I'm pulled into a Zoom call, do I need to have my video on? Yes, you do. People are paying for that VRI service. You do have the option to shut off your camera, but I do not think that is something that we would suggest. In fact, please do not. When joining a room, it'll work exactly like a regular VRI call native to the app. You will see, your mirrored screen so that you can prepare. And once you join, make sure to enable your camera and enable your audio. No installation required for this one. I am showing you a picture over here to the right of Boostlingo in the Zoom marketplace, but you do not need to interact with the marketplace. This is coming this week. This is something that will be available to our clients this week, or once we pass review. But in terms of accepting those calls, no installation, no plugin required. This works natively in the app. And what I'll be showing you today is when calls come in, you'll clearly see that this is a Zoom call, and we can talk a little bit about what to expect when entering a room. So let me quickly just message a colleague and let them know that I will be expecting a call. So this is a normal, this is a test demo environment. And right now I have a requester in this environment about to send me an invite to Zoom. So they have the Zoom client open, they have a meeting already in progress, and they need an Italian interpreter. I'm going to play that role. And like I mentioned, this is something that will be available without download, without the need to install a plugin. All you need to be aware is that when the call comes in, identify it's a Zoom call, and we'll show you how to do that. and then we can talk about the steps that need to take after. You need to take after. So here's a call coming in. You'll see incoming Zoom call in a bunch of different places. I'm going to click to answer. It's going to open up a separate browser, and it's going to wait until that host allows me to enter. Once I'm in, I will see the requester that initiated that invite, and I'm going to start my video. I additionally want to join audio, but I'm not going to do this for this presentation because it's going to cause a little issues with the GoToWebinar audio. But that's it. I'm now in the Zoom meeting. I'm now able to, introduce myself. If I open up the participant list, you can see that we've already named you with your first name, your interpreter ID, and the call details. So you can see here, I'm an Italian VRI interpreter. So I'm already in the call. If I go back to the app, you'll see a call is in progress. I'm connected on another device. There are no controls in Boostlingo that affect Zoom. All those controls are actually in the web version of Zoom. So if I wanted to, I could stop my video. I can rename myself. The host can actually, I'm sorry, the requester calling can make you a host, and you can share your screen. I can chat in here. All the features that are native to Zoom will be available to you within the new browser window driven from Boostlingo. So it's as simple as that. I'm going to leave this meeting because the interpretation is now complete. Thank you, Tanya. The meeting will disconnect. Zoom meeting ended. I now go back to my browser, and it will show the call, the details for that call, how long I actually participated, and I can then rate it. That is the integration. So it's super simple. Calls come in and they're clearly identified as a Zoom call. And all the standard processes for a VRI call are in place. So you have to make sure that you're in a professional environment. You will see that heads up display showing your camera. Once you click answer, it will open up a new tab, and then you're in the meeting. So quickly, this supports the crowd. So once this is enabled and we roll it out to clients, calls will come into you. No additional permissions are needed. If you are already a VRI interpreter, you can take a Zoom call. Once joining a call, this will require your video camera. So please have that enabled and join with video. And let's talk a little bit about expectations for a Zoom call. First, prepare to wait. Users sometimes have their Zoom environments set up for admission. So the meeting host wants to allow specifically your user to join. So you will see an indication that that's happening and you're still waiting to be admitted, but it won't be instantaneous. And the clock is not counting until you actually join that meeting. Zoom calls require video unless otherwise stated, as I mentioned. Interpreters' mobile devices are not supported. So you'll notice if you are answering in the crowd, obviously we only want you to be answering calls in the web. They will not be routed to your mobile device if you're also having that open. So calls can only be answered in the web. Like I mentioned, your name and interpreter ID will be used in the room, but we still expect and require an introduction once you're admitted. Zoom calls happen in that second tab, and once that tab opens, it's going to ask one time for permission to share your mic and camera. That will be the first time you accept a call. Every subsequent Zoom call that you attend after, you will just join the meeting through that open tab. An important piece here, once you want to leave the meeting, do not close the browser. Click leave the meeting. And the reason for that is we expect Zoom to tell Boostlingo when that meeting ends. And we expect for that leave the meeting event, that button to be clicked, and that will automatically tell Boostlingo that the meeting ends. If you do not click it, I think there is up to 90 seconds in which Boost will then go reach out to Zoom and say, has the meeting ended? Yes, then we end the call. Times are adjusted after. So if that browser was called, we will closed. Boostlingo will see and adjust the time, so it will remove that trailing 60 seconds. But the experience for requesters will be really bad if you close that browser. They will not have audio. They will not see you in video. It will just look like a blank kind of participant in that meeting. So to avoid that bad experience, please make sure you click leave the meeting. Two other points. Make sure that no other application is using your camera. Again, this could lead to a very bad experience. And as I mentioned, the controls in this caller, once a Zoom call is in progress, have no control over Zoom. So you will not be muting, you will not be ending the call from here. Everything happens in that Zoom tab. So please be aware when a call comes in and you enter that Zoom tab, that the controls are then handed off to Zoom. End the meeting there, control your mic there, control the audio there, and your camera there. And once the meeting is complete, make sure you click leave the meeting unless the requester ends the meeting for you. And it really is as simple as that. Again, we are waiting for approval from the Zoom marketplace. This will happen most likely today, if not tomorrow. Then the rollout to our clients, some training will be required, but I fully expect next week, if you are set up for VRI and a client is using Zoom, calls will be coming in next week for Zoom. So just be aware. Again, no changes, no installation on your end. Just identify that call and make sure you understand this will open up in a new browser. It requires your video. And you will probably take 1 or 2 or 3 seconds for the requester to admit you. And that's really the demo. I'm ready to answer questions. Caroline, do we have any coming in?
Yeah, let me check here. Thanks, Brian. This is so cool to see. I mean, I've seen it a couple times already, but it's just so cool to see it in action. I do have one question, but it's not actually about the Zoom integration. Guys, do you have any other questions about this feature? We want to hear from you guys and make sure everything's clear. So please let us know. The question I have here is about scheduling, which is something we've talked about. But I often get clients that ask to follow up calls that they can connect with me directly. Since I have background on the issue, can this be made possible? So that feature is something we've been calling scheduling to the crowd, and at this point in time, it's not something that we have built out. But you know, it's something that we have discussed, and it's quite a big build, right, Brian? So
yes, absolutely. There's
something,
a lot.
yeah, a lot involved.
A lot involved. And that does bring up a good point that I want to make clear that everybody knows. Since we don't have scheduling to the crowd, as Caroline mentioned, everything you've seen here today and everything that's happening with Zoom for VRI is on demand. So you will not, there's going to be no expectation that an invite will be sent out and there's scheduling. This is truly on demand in Zoom. Clients invite you or they invite Boostlingo, and then we route as we normally do based on that client's particular settings. So this is on demand.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? If you have follow-ups, you can always reach out to us. If you're interested in registering to get more information as an interpreter on with the Boostlingo app, you can go to our website and click on the interpreters tab, submit a form, and we'll get back to you with some information there. And then we will be sending out a recording of this video to everybody who is a interpreter in the BPIN, and anybody who's registered for this training. So I don't think we have any other questions at this point, Brian. So I think we can cut this short and then follow up if there are any questions.
Cool. I'm glad. It really helps me understand this is dead simple. Again, calls come in, you just
Yeah.
click answer as you normally do. Sweet. Thanks, Caroline.
Yeah, I think like if I'm looking at this from the perspective of somebody who's just starting to use this, one thing I would definitely highlight for all of you guys out there listening is when you, like Brian said, when you are ending the call, don't just click X out of the browser. Definitely click leave. That's a big point that I noticed that might come up with people, just as a common issue. Another quick follow-up question: is this only for medical interpreting? No, this is across the entire network. So this is for all different types of clients. We'll be using this.
Yes, absolutely. And to that point, when closing the browser, Boostlingo will end the call after a minute. But this is about quality, and this is about feedback from the clients. I don't think they'll want to see a participant not responding, not answering.
Yeah.
So leaving the meeting is probably the best practice.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, if there's no other questions, we'll end this now, and then please expect a email with the recording later today or tomorrow. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have any other questions about the feature or anything. Thank you, Brian, so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.